talk about anger. Anger is a strong feeling of annoyance, displeasure, hostility. Or is it? Let's peel back the layers and dig a little deeper. Anger is actually sadness or hurt in disguise. When something bothers us and we don't speak up about it, yet we choose to remain in the situation, we can feel disempowered. Anger can happen sometimes when we feel we're being mistreated, and since we can't have control over another person, force them to do what we think is the right thing, or get them to understand how it is we're feeling, what do we do when we feel angry? We do the really tough stuff. We look within. If we understand that how someone treats another person is a direct reflection of how they feel about themselves, if they're mistreating us, isn't that then their problem? When we make it our problem by choosing to remain in a situation that we feel uncomfortable in, it's actually ourselves that we feel angry at. Okay, we look within. So then what? We look deeper. We find the true source of the pain. Where is it that's really hurting? What is it that's really bothering me? And then once we find that, we actually dig deeper, because likely we still haven't identified the source of the pain. When someone is mistreating us, again, it is actually ourselves that we are angry with, because why are we choosing to let them do that? Unless we're a child under someone else's supervision, we have the power to walk away when something doesn't feel right to us. We can make choices. So if we're choosing to be mistreated by somebody else, in order to change that, we have to find the source of why we're doing that. Do you maybe have a boss that is mistreating you and paying for you to do the job of one person while you do the work of two? As long as you keep doing the work, your boss will see no problem with the situation. I had a friend complain to me about this very issue for 5 years until she got sick and tired enough and finally quit her job. And then her boss hired 2 people to do the job she was doing. She wanted respect and appreciation from her boss, and she was angry with him. But I bet if she peeled back the layers, she would find that the person she was really angry with was herself, because she chose to stay in that situation for 5 years. But if she looked within, identified, and healed the issue, her anger toward her boss would likely evaporate. She will have found within herself what it was she was looking for from her boss: respect and appreciation. And then she'll likely be able to apply it to her life moving forward, and likely improve other areas of her life where she was also not putting herself first. Our anger, our emotions serve as a tool, because what happens when we have unresolved issues is that we keep attracting the same types of situations and people into our lives that we react the same way to. Do you find yourself settling for less than great treatment in some of your relationships? If this is happening, remember, there's no changing the people around us, but we can change ourselves by choosing to walk away and no longer remain in the situation. It might hurt a lot to do this, to walk away from people or someone that we love, but when we stay, we hurt ourselves more. So then, who are we really angry with? Ourselves. When we have feelings of anger and we begin to peel back the layers, what we find is that actually we are sad. We have some hurt inside that we need to address by looking within. We have unresolved issues that we can heal all by ourselves. And we don't need to blame ourselves, as blame is never useful. We can instead have compassion toward ourselves and understand that we just have more growing to do. And that's okay.
That's another trick to releasing anger. Tell yourself it's okay. Anger is a natural human emotion that will come up from time to time. And it's okay to be angry at another person. So to help release anger, be easy on yourself by telling yourself it's okay. Fake it till you make it. Close your eyes as you exhale when you're feeling angry, and tell yourself you are releasing the anger. See it fall away from you as you see yourself ascending to a higher state of happiness. Our brains are powerful. Just like when we're watching a suspenseful movie, our heart rate speeds up as if what's happening in the movie is actually happening to us. But it's not. We're sitting under a blanket on the couch. We're fine. but our brain thinks we're not. So our fight or flight response kicks in. In the same way, our brains can tell our hearts to release the anger. Eventually, we will. And if the person that we're angry at is meant to stay in our lives, the issue will eventually get resolved. And if they're not meant to stay in our lives, we will be able to release the anger and sadness around that person. We find self-empowerment when we release anger toward others, because then they no longer have control over our emotions and our state of happiness. Another surprisingly comforting trick in letting go of anger is to remind ourselves that, hey, this is just how I'm feeling right now. The feeling is temporary. I'm human too, and I remind myself of all of these things throughout different stages in my life, including right now. So I'm sharing in case it might help someone else out there. I'm Amy Lee Miller, and I believe in you.